Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Shimon Eckhouse. Your pioneering work in the field of aesthetic medical devices has significantly impacted the industry. We are excited to gain insights from your extensive experience and learn more about your journey and the innovations you've championed. Do you visit Korea often, and what are your impressions of Korean aesthetic market, medical market?
So actually, the last time I visited Korea was 10 years ago. And the aesthetic market in Korea looked very, very promising. But I can tell you that 10 years later, it's hard to believe how much it has grown. And I mean, I've known it before I came here, but when you are here and you see it, it's really amazing. And I started calling Korea the Mecca of aesthetic medicine.
Oh, you initially pursued a career in science with background in physics from UC Irvine and worked at Raphael and Maxwell Technologies in Israel. What inspired you shift to the field of aesthetic medical field devices?
So frankly speaking, I didn't know, I knew that I'm interested in medical technology because I liked it. It is multidisciplinary, it's very interesting, and you also make good things for people. But really the way I started my first company, Luminous, was when I read an article about something called a pulse dye laser used for port wine stains. And I looked at the article and I said, I think I understand what they're doing, but I'm quite an expert on flash lamps. And I believe I can do it better with a flash lamp. And then I actually, after thinking about it, making some calculations, I invented what is called now IPL. I wrote a patent and I started Luminous. Now at the beginning, at those years, this was 1992, nobody was talking about devices for aesthetic medicine. And the main market in those days, and you know it well because you have been to MGH, was to treat port wine stains.
Yes.
So we decided to develop a product that will really be focused around port wine stains. But along the way, we discovered that there are many other things you can do with this technology, all the way from treating any kind of vascular lesions on the face or other parts of the body. Then we discovered that it actually can do some kind of skin rejuvenation, can do some of the pigmented lesions, and really like the big step was the discovery that you can remove hair with it.
Yeah.
So in a way, we started with a very narrow focus on vascular lesions, but we ended up discovering that you can do many other things about it. And I believe we at Luminous, we kind of identified in the late 90s that there is a big demand for aesthetic medicine. Not, of course, what we have today, which is 100 times bigger, but to a large extent, I came into aesthetic medicine not by plan, but just, by serendipity.
But actually, you made a new category of treatments, and also you are father of IPL. We all know that, and we really appreciate your invention of the device. Your LinkedIn profile lists you as co-founder and chairman of the board at Epitome Medical, Softwave, Rapid Medical, and Alon Meditech Ventures. Could you provide an overview of these companies and focusing on those beyond the Softwave Medical?
Sure. So actually, Softwave Medical we founded 8 years ago. And to a large extent, the reason I did it was because I got some know-how about ultrasound. Because in my Syneron days, we acquired UltraShape, which was working with ultrasound. And I also had lots of background because we at Syneron were the first ones to introduce to the market what's called now RF microneedling. That was a product called Profound that I'm assuming you're familiar with.
Yes.
And Profound, we found out that if you use certain parameters of temperature and pulse duration in the dermis, you can get very good skin tightening. The only problem with Profound was that it was a difficult device and it wasn't very nice for patients. It had significant downtime.
Yes.
And more than that, some physicians really had a hard time using it. So, and I had that background. I mean, I had all of this experience. So in 2016, 17, when I founded Softwave, I said I can achieve more or less the same parameters with ultrasound transducers that create a beam without really damaging the skin by cooling down the transducer itself. So this is the way we started Softwave, and I knew that there is a big demand for really non-invasive products with zero downtime for skin tightening. That's the way we started it, and of course we see now that it is taking market share and evolving and so on. The other companies you mentioned are in different fields. Actually, Epitome is a company that I founded approximately 15 years ago. And what we developed in Epitome is a device for weight loss that is based on using a device inside a small capsule that a patient takes with water. It goes down into the stomach. When it reaches the stomach, it opens up into a small structure that applies pressure to the walls of the stomach. Because of this pressure, you get a feeling of satiety. You are less hungry. So patients take it about 30 minutes before their main meal, and it reduces their appetite. They take less food, and they end up losing weight. And that is a product that we have done many trials with. We have CE mark for, and we just finished a large clinical trial in the United States and expect to get FDA clearance for the product by the end of this year. So that's Epitome.
Yes.
Rapid is completely different. Rapid, we developed products for treatment of brain stroke, removing blood clots from the brain, using catheters and a very unique device that you bring all the way to the brain. It catches the clot and then you pull it out. We sell this device all over the world. We have sold by now, we have done about 30,000 brain strokes with it, and it's a very successful company.
Wow.
Alon MedTech is actually something we established around 2016, and what it is an incubator for early stage companies. So there I bring in entrepreneurs. We make an investment really in the very early stage, what we call seed investment, and try to develop some unique ideas. So I'm quite active in quite a wide range of medical technology areas.
You already mentioned a little bit, but I'd like to ask you that you have played a pivotal role in medical aesthetic field with companies like Lumenis Syneron Candela, and now Softwave Medical. Could you share some key experiences and milestones from founding of Lumenis to current endeavors?
So, I mean, at the end of the day, from my experience, the most important part in developing medical technology in general and medical aesthetics, like every other field, is to really be very careful in the early stage of understanding the scientific background of what you do. And I can tell you, and Lumenis is a good example, I knew, as I mentioned, a little bit of the background of using pulse dye lasers for port wine stains. And I said I can do it with another technology. And then I spent quite a significant amount of time really learning about light and skin interaction, how you absorb light in the skin, properties of blood vessels, what temperature is needed in order to destroy them or to remove a blood vessel. All of this, and we invested a lot in the early development stage of IPL. And then, you know, the fruits of that were that we became a very successful company. So that's one element. I'm a big believer in really establishing the science behind the technology that you are trying to bring to market. The second element, which is very important, is to understand the user, the doctor that is going to use the device, and understand what his concerns are and what he is trying to achieve. So with every device I have been involved in, we always look on safety as the most important feature of a device. In aesthetic medicine, it's even more important because a patient comes to you and she or he wants to look better. And if you end up, you know, causing damage to her skin or, God forbid, make a scar, you know, she will hate you forever. So safety is a key issue. And then in aesthetic medicine, of course, it is for patients what we call out-of-pocket procedure. So it has to be a business model that works for the doctor, works for the patient, and works for us.
Yeah.
So these are key elements. And the other one is, you know, when you have an idea, after you really look at it very carefully, to be courageous enough or brave enough to really go to the next stage and focus on it and build a company around it. And it doesn't always succeed, but when it succeeds, it's very nice.
Everybody hope that, but we all know that it's not so easy a task to make a good company like you. You and Louis Scafuri had a long-standing professional relationship. So how did your collaboration begin, and what has contributed to the longevity and the success of your partnership?
So it's actually a very interesting story, because whenever we talk about human relationships, it's interesting. So actually, the first time I started working with Lou was in 1999 in Lumenis. We acquired a few years before that a company called Sharplan or Laser Industries that you are probably familiar with. And we integrated it into Lumenis. And the main challenge that we had was North America or the United States. And I decided that in order to put the company in order, we need somebody that is experienced in medical sales and medical commercialization in the US. And I found a headhunter, and he actually introduced me to Lou Scafuri, and I hired him in Lumenis. Then in 2000, I founded, after I left Lumenis, I founded Syneron in 2001, and in 2008, and I'm not maybe plus or minus 1 year, Syneron was in the process of looking on the acquisition of Candela, again a large US-based company. And I said, to do this merger and be successful with it, we need somebody that is very experienced in the US market as well as the global aesthetic market, because at that point in time, he had lots of experience from his work at Luminous. So I brought him in as the CEO of the company, and he actually was in charge of the acquisition and merger with Candela. And then, after we sold Candela in 2017, I already had Softwave as a company, and the company developed very nicely. And in 2019, we got FDA clearance. When we got FDA clearance, I met Lou in a conference, and I said, Lou, you should come to us again.
Yeah.
So that's the story.
Yeah. So 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
And we have a very good and close relationship with we trust each other, and we respect the capabilities of each other. So that's a key in personal relationships.
Yeah.